Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Here it's Brock Black Country with the weekly comic book roundup, and this is basically what's left. Everything else, we got some Spider-Man action. We got Marvel Comics Presents, so it's kind of other, and then we got some Star Wars action going on. All right, so let's get started. We're going to kick things off with with Miles Morales Spider-Man number 6. Where we left off, Miles, while chasing down, while trying to get to Tombstone, came upon a young woman in a winged outfit. Calling herself Starling. So the issue opens. She's beaten the holy crap out of Tombstone's men. And she figures that Miles works for Tombstone. They duke it out a bit. And she tries to fly out. And she ends up picking up and dropping him from a rather high height, and so she, as he's falling, Spider-Man shoots the web lines onto the wings of her costume, and they land in a pile of tires. As they get up, make sure they're okay, and Starling comes to the realization that if this guy's going to ask if this is actually going to care if she's okay, he definitely doesn't work for Tombstone. Turns out she's from Detroit. But she does a little flirting with Spider-Man before she leaves, even though he makes a note to his journal that even after she flew away above the junkyard stink, he could still smell coconut oil. And it wasn't until he called 911 that he remembered that she'd put just about half a dozen mugs in the hospital. Monday, he's been obsessing over, some of it, like the fact she called him soccer body. He gets a brief talking to from the principal at Brooklyn Visions Academy. And Barbara ends up breaking up with him because she doesn't like secrets, and it's very clear that he's hiding a big one. He's Spider-Man. It's not exactly something you just go around telling people. Admittedly, if I were a superhero, I would probably go around telling everyone. Because, yeah. So later on, Starling gets a hold of him, and the two of them fight off more of Tombstone's men. Starling being rather violent about it, Pete and Miles trying to, be cool about it. Or Tombstone comes out with a big ass gun, just starts blasting, not caring about his men. Spidey takes him down, but then Starling wants to drop him, and so Miles webs himself to Tombstone, and so she comes down and saves both of them. They talk a bit. Turns out that her her grandfather is Adrian Toomes, the Vulture. And oh, he keeps the secret a secret because and so, but she's not having that either. Like, as apparent according to Grandpa Vulture, he robbed 60 banks back in the day. Never wore a mask. Said he didn't need one. Said secrets made you vulnerable. Anyway, so he heads out. He also managed to snag a file from Tombstone's office. And so he heads home, but now can't sleep. Well, so the next day, he goes to get some answers about Tombstone's files. Answers from his Uncle Aaron, also known as the Prowler. I think he's known as the Prowler. Fairly certain he's the Prowler. I mean, yes, I know in the movie and in Ultimate, yeah, but the Prowler is a Spider-Man frenemy that it's like I know who he is. I see it, oh yeah, that's the Prowler, but he's not a character I ever really followed. But it stands to reason that they would, when integrating Miles into the Marvel universe from the Ultimate line, they would have just that would have been part of it. So, anyways, moving on to Marvel Comics Presents number 5, which appears to. Anyway, so start off with part 5 of the Wolverine story, The Vigil. In the 70s, turns out that when the truth returned in the 70s, Sylvie was able to banish it, but she was killed in the process. So we open up in the 80s. We get clips of Wolverine and over the course of Marvel X-Men comics from the 80s. A redone version of him from I don't remember the exact issue. I want to say maybe it was Uncanny 129, but it was in the sewers underneath the Hellfire Club. It's actually it's an awesome shot. Then, but yeah, little clips here and there. But never once does Truth show up. So when 89 rolls around, he decides to give him some answers. And he goes to Doctor Strange. They talk for a little bit. He tells Strange what's going on. Though, I have to take issue with all of this because it's neglecting that entire thing that a large portion of Wolverine's memory was erased before he joined the X-Men. Now, over the course of the story, it's never been addressed. So, yeah. But he wants to make sure things are taken care of and ends up going to where he first met Sylvie. So now she was driving town. he's attacked and sent to Australia. Basically, kind of, hey, you let Sylvie die, so go fuck yourself. But he did catch a scent. Anyways, moving on. We've got Demon's Choice featuring Nightcrawler. Takes place in November 1989, Berlin. She's on the run from someone, and is rescued by none other than Nightcrawler. However, Nightcrawler's probably attacked by Sabretooth, and we'll do them tussle a bit, and then Shadowcat phases through the wall, grabs Nightcrawler and Destiny, pulls the two of them through, and leaves Sabretooth stuck in the wall. But it turns out that they're in a parallel or on a different Earth than the one they're used to. It should be noted that Excalibur did a lot for Marvel's multiverse back in the day. A lot of their stories dealt more with dimension hopping rather than terrestrial threats, or well, they weren't fighting mutants or human supremacists in England. They were usually fighting extra-dimensional tyrants. So, but Kitty and Kurt opt to go once they've reunite. Once Destiny's managed to get away from Sabretooth, and Shadowcat and Nightcrawler managed to get back to the train. They had a train. It was kind of neat. So they could head home. They do opt to go out for a little bit. Night on the town. So, yeah. Anyway, last story is oh boy, phenethylamine, starring Venom. So you open up, a girl at a convenience store is ringing up chocolate bars, some energy drink, some No-Dos. And the symbiote is arguing with Eddie. Apparently Eddie just drops a wad of 100 in front of her to pay for it, just leaves it and walk. He's walking through and gets back to his house, or his apartment, and discovers a sticker on the wall, and there's a peephole in there. Gorges himself on chocolate and eventually passes out, and the symbiote. Well, Eddie has some dreams. When he comes to, he's in the bathroom and basically allows the symbiote to come out and play. And the issue ends with him beginning the transformation from Eddie to Venom. And that is it for the issue. Next up, we've got Age of Rebellion, Jabba the Hutt. Wonderful human being. Anyways, so we open up on Canto Bight. And a serving droid makes his way through. Offering Tuscan Wind, a drink which sells for 10,000 credits, basically per shot. So a couple of ne'er-do-wells hear out how to get it, and so they head to it's all available on Tatooine, where we cut to Jabba's palace, and he's negotiating with Tusken Raiders. Apparently, Jawas and Imperials have been prowling through their dunes, seeking their most sacred sites. They demand that those transgressions cease. He nearly threatens them, but kind of reminds them what happens when he actually, for Jabba, rather subtly reminds them what happens when you threaten Jabba the Hutt. Next up come our two ne'er-do-wells, who wish to purchase some Tuscan Wind. Jabba's got some on hand, which he quickly drinks. And while they're being escorted out, Bib Fortuna makes a point of telling them all manner of information, such as, the Tusken raid. It's sacred to the Tuskens, and if they try to steal it, they could start a war. And that these two should spread the word to all of them if they meddle, especially if they try to ambush the Tuskens and steal it during their night prayers at high moon on the Great Dune. They will die. Oh, I was wrong. It was Jabba explaining all that. So, in the Mos Eisley Cantina, Chalmers, our two ne'er-do-wells decide they're going to take all that information that Jabba just gave them and put it to use. Well, apparently they're being overheard by Jawa. And that Jawa passes along some gathers some of the other Jawas, and they said, hey, we're going to go do this. And a spy droid, let's say an Imperial officer who's having some financial issues, know that, he can get this and make money. And also, Tusken Wind has gone up to 12,000. So that night, our two ne'er-do-wells show up, Great Dune. They're quickly ambushed by Jawas, who have super battle droids that have been retrofitted, all repaired for their own use. And then a squad of Imperials show up. And they try to, talk things out, and though Boba Fett makes a point of shooting the Imperial officer from a distance, and all hell breaks loose, and everyone basically kills each other. Next day, the Tuskens run the dead from the battle the previous night, and take them to Jabba. They bring him his tribute. explains that he will continue to ensure that you will remain unbothered by the Jawas. But as they leave, Bib Fortuna informs Jabba that a Coruscant cartel has figured out how to synthesize Tuscan wind, and that makes it, well, worthless. But Jabba, dog drinking, explains it's not worthless. It's priceless. And that's where the issue ends. Because I've loved all these covered by the Dodsons on these. Anyway, that's it for the weekly comic book roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified when I put new content. And links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.